Thank you, General. So today, the International Court of Justice heard South Africa's genocide case against Israel over Gaza's war, and there were many details of incidents that amount to genocide or acts of genocide, according to the case, in which U.S. provided weapons were used. Is the Pentagon concerned about any implications or potential implications from this case?
Yeah, thanks, Fadi. So I don't have any comment to provide in terms of South Africa and its particular actions as it relates to the International Criminal Court. We've been very clear from the beginning of this conflict that we do care about innocent civilian lives, both Israeli and Palestinian, and that we will continue to consult with our Israeli partners and urge them to take all necessary measures to protect civilians, also taking into account humanitarian assistance. And again, I know I've said this many times, but any loss of civilian life is tragic, and of course, it's not something that we want. We also recognize the difficult situation that Israel finds itself in terms of defending its country and ensuring that the kinds of attacks that happened on October 7th don't happen again. So we are going to continue to work very closely with State Department and the interagency and our partners in Israel to ensure that, number one, they have the ability to defend themselves, but number two, that we continue to do everything that we can to urge them and expect them to safeguard civilians and also ensure that humanitarian assistance can get into Gaza. And then more long-term, of course, the policy of the U.S. government is to work toward a two-state solution where Israel and the Palestinians can live, coexist in that region in peace. But again, I'll just leave it there.
We've heard these comments before, but there's a big question about the effectiveness of whatever you're doing with your Israeli allies. Today, the spokesperson for the United Nations Secretary General said Israel impeded the delivery of 18 shipments out of 21 to North Gaza since the beginning of the year, and it's basically crippling organizations, humanitarian organizations, to do their work in that area. The death toll continues to grow. Hospitals are being targeted. UN workers, journalists, more than 110 have been killed. Schools, civilian infrastructure. So what is it really that you're referring to in terms of Israel's right to defend itself? Are you in support of such actions?
Again, Fadi, no one's questioning the fact that it's a tragic situation across the board for multiple reasons. Again, Israel's a sovereign country that's going to make sovereign decisions about how best to defend themselves. What we've committed to is Israel's inherent right to self-defense, but we've also made it very clear that we expect them to conduct any operations in accordance with the law of armed conflict and also take into account the importance of ensuring that humanitarian aid and assistance can get into Gaza. I recognize that this is an incredibly complex situation and there are no simple solutions, but we will continue to stay in close contact with Israel. We've had a very long partnership for a very long time, and so again, we will continue to have those conversations. Let me, one last one and then.
Yes, thank you.